Matt, you had said just a minute ago, I wanted to get some clarification from you and get your ideas on a couple of things. You had talked about the separation of church and state. And I was hoping maybe I could get you to elaborate just a little on what you personally believe, and maybe Jeff can do it too, what you personally believe is proper separation of church and state.
Do you want to start?
No.
Okay. Well, I just finished on the last one.
I mean, I don't. Okay, I'll start. But my personal belief is that it's not up to me. It's up to what the law says. You know, I mean, I have an understanding of what the law says. Is that what you want me to explain to you? Because you know, you can look that up for yourself.
What do you want the law to say? Would probably be a better question.
I am happy with what the law actually says. So, I mean,
and the law says what? First Amendment, come on.
Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or preventing the pre-exercise thereof. It's the application of the law. The only proper application of that law is a separation of church and state, which means that the government cannot show preferential treatment for, special treatment for, or discriminate against a person based on those things. And I think that it should go far as to not allow religions to become de facto tax-free organizations, that they should in fact demonstrate some benefit to the public in order to earn that tax-free status. But that aside, what it does mean is that when somebody goes into office, for example, they don't have to stop being a religious individual, but they cannot use their religion as within the scope of the function of their office. And right. There is too much of that. There is too much preferential treatment for religions. It happens by and large with, you know, this fictional Judeo-Christian religion that people have invented in order so that they can cooperate on this. These people who would disagree on plenty of other things.
And Islam as well, especially these days.
Well, I think that you would find that the majority of people in the United States, the majority being Christian, would be fine discriminating against Islam. I think that the majority of those people probably would be just fine about discriminating against Islam. And here's an example. I'm glad you brought this up. Here in Austin, in the Austin area, there is a bus driver who was fired from the Capital Area Rural Transportation System. It's a government agency. It's basically our buses and public transportation around Austin. He was dispatched to pick up some women and take them to a Planned Parenthood facility, and he refused on the grounds that it violated his religion, and they fired him. And now he's suing them, this government-run organization, because he's claiming they discriminated against him on behalf of his religion. No, they absolutely did not. He had no business taking a job where he might be required as one of his duties to do things that he feels violates his religion. That's his responsibility. Here's the job requirements. Here's what you're expected to do. If you take that job, you cannot then cry foul when they're asking you to do your job and it violates your. How's that different from saying, you know, no, I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to wait on black people because it violates my religion?
That's one of the things I love about you. You're such a clear thinker.
Okay.
No, truthfully, I mean, and I've called in before. I don't know if you remember me, but I'm a Christian, and I call in all the time, and always thank you guys so much for the fact that you're doing so much, and that you're offering a service at least to make people think about what it is they believe. And frankly, even as a Christian, I think I agree with you wholeheartedly on everything you've said about church and state and the separation of church and state. I think I agree line upon line with everything you had to say.
Well, okay. You want to get started on the things we disagree on?
Oh, my God. Do you really want to give me that much time?
Probably not, but, you know, I figured I'd at least offer.
Let me say hi to Tracy, your Wonder Twin. Can you do the Wonder Twin Powers Activate thing again?
No, we can't at the moment. She's busy. But thanks for calling, David.
Hey, I love you guys.
Sure. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, since we got sidetracked and I did all the answering.
Yeah. I have a question.
Yeah.
Our tax-exempt organizations, are they, except for religions, are they required to demonstrate a, positive value?
Well, what
If
happened
they're
was...
not, then I can't see why we would require that for religions.
Sure. And what I'm saying is, I think this should be required for everybody, including religions.
Fair
and what's
enough.
happened is they've made a few exceptions. They've said these are the things that we generally think are in the best interest of the public. Things like libraries, charitable organizations, things like that.
Yeah.
And so they can have a tax-free status. Libraries, charities, educational organizations, etc.
Yeah.
And then they said, oh yeah, and religion.
Right.
And so anybody who creates a church and demonstrates that they're a church and is associated, by the way, with one of this list of government-approved religions
Yeah.
is automatically tax exempt. Baptist, sure, that's been on the list for ages.
Right.
Scientology worked their way onto the list. Catholic, yep, you start a new Catholic church, it's automatic. But what that does is not only do I have objections to it because they haven't demonstrated that they're providing any public service that is deserving of tax-free status, but it places the government in the business of sanctioning which claims of religion are religions and deserve a tax-exempt status,
Right.
and which aren't. And that is the most
And this-
obvious violation of church-state
And this
separation.
actually came up a few years ago
Yeah.
with the Buddhist temple.
Yeah. To me, it's absolutely insane that we offer this tax exemption and place the government in the position of saying, yeah, you're a religion and you're not. You're a religion and you're not. How is that not the government making laws with respect to establishments of religion?
Right.
How is that not a violation of the Establishment Clause? I don't know. The big thing is that it never gets challenged. You know why? Because we live in a country where 70% of the population is benefiting from that. That's it. But Matt in Seattle.
Just off the top of my head, I know, yeah.
Matt?
Matt?
Covered in God, yes. I have no idea.
Matt in Seattle?
So, no, if I get on, I'll just say, hey, I love the show. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Okay, well, you got on and you said, hey, I love the show. Thank you, guys. So cool.
Alrighty. What's next?
I don't know. He was calling to say something evidently about recent findings having to do with the Higgs boson particle proves God.
Well, he's welcome to call back.
His position is that because the particle pops into existence is the particle accelerator that proves something can come from nothing. Therefore, it's possible God can create something from nothing.
But therefore, it would be possible you don't need God to get something from
Yeah.
nothing.
Ta-da! Done. We didn't even have to take him on the air. All right. I'm going to roll the dice because we're behind on actually getting our updates, but the lines are full. So I have no idea who this is on line 2, but you're on the air.
Am I on the air?
You
Yes.
are on the air.
Wow,
Who-
that was quick. Okay.
Who is
Hey.
this?
Do you guys ever get offers going on mainstream media? Like Fox or MSNBC or any of them?
No.
Would you like to?
Sure.
Sure, go ahead.
All right, I think
Are you
I'm
one of
gonna
them
write
people?
them and suggest it. I mean,
Knock yourself out.
'cause-
I've said before, as long as it doesn't cost me anything out of my pocket, I'll go anywhere and talk to anybody that wants me to. So, yeah, you know, MSNBC calls and wants me on there, I'm there.
all right.
So on our behalf, you're free to tell them so.
All right. Hope you guys do it one of these days.
What was your name, sir?
My name is Jerry.
Hi, Jerry.
Thanks for calling.
I've been watching you since you've been on, I believe.
97?
And by the way, Jeff, I owe you a thanks. Your shows on critical thinking were excellent.
Thank you,
and
sir.
we even corresponded by email years ago. And I taught my son, and now he's a big shot with a big computer company because he uses critical thinking.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well,
Well,
thanks a
thanks,
lot
Jerry.
for calling, Jerry. Appreciate it.
All righty. Be well.
We've got, well, now, it could be Ian and it could be Ian in lacrosse.
It's Ian.
All
Hi,
right.
Ian.
Basically, I called in like about a month ago asking about the transcendental argument for God, and I think I've come up with a response, and I kind of wanted to bounce it off of you and see if it works.
Are you calling in to advocate the argument or present a response to the argument?
Present a response to the argument.
I don't know that we need to waste a whole bunch of time on that. We've already talked about why the argument's bunk. Nobody's come up with a new version of it, and a significant portion of the audience is going to fall asleep while we point out yet another thing that's wrong with the transcendental argument. Why don't you just email it to me, since you and I are the only ones that I know are overly interested in it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can email tv@atheist-community.org, and that'll actually get to me. And just, I don't know, put AETV and tag in the subject line, and I'll get to it.
All right.
Thanks, Ian. I appreciate it.
Bye.
All right.
Well, he sounded
I know.
You can understand, considering the amount of time that has been spent on such things on this show,
That's the thing.
why callers might imagine that they can spend some more time on it.
I know. I'm trying to move us in a certain direction, and I know that if he starts talking about tag, he and I are going to end up talking for 15 minutes, and that's not what I want the show to be.
Yeah, I'm just commiserating with the poor man. I'm sure he's got something very clever.
Ian, you get me your email. I guarantee you, I promise I will make an attempt to answer it as quickly and succinctly as possible. But yeah. Josh in Alamiso.
Hi guys. It's actually Alamosa.
Alamosa.
Colorado.
They spelled it wrong on here. Oh, now they corrected it. They tried to correct it without me looking at it. You guys are sneaky. Hey, Josh, how you doing?
Pretty well. First off, I want to say I've been watching your show for about a year, mostly on YouTube, and think you guys are doing a lot of good work. And so I have to kind of throw out my kudos right away.
Thanks very much.
But what I was wanting to talk about was I don't know if you guys heard about this or not, but last week in Argentina, the country passed same-sex marriage rights to its citizens, and so I was listening to a couple of radio shows, and thought, hey, that's a really cool thing, and hopefully we as in the United States will start doing something like that. But the interesting thing and how this ties into atheism, I suppose, was there's a very large Catholic population in Argentina, and yet even that, like, notwithstanding, the people still decided to allow this marriage to go through, mostly because it was like a human rights issue, and that country has had a lot of history of past injustices and whatnot, and I just kind of thought that it's kind of interesting looking at this prosecution or persecution rather, and how the Argentinians are able to recognize that. Yet a lot of Christians in this country, they seem to hang their hat on the fact that throughout history they've been persecuted by the Romans and by us, militant atheists today, but yet they can't seem to understand that flip side to it, how the prosecuted are becoming the prosecutors. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. But okay. So yeah, that's it. Keep up the good work and have a good one.
All right. I think the reason that they have difficulty seeing it is because no living Christian that you're talking about has actually probably been persecuted for their beliefs. A handful here and there. Maybe some missionary goes into a foreign country and gets it. But the people that you're talking about, the people who are sitting at home in their self-righteousness after getting home from church and deciding that it was Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve type. Those people have no idea what persecution is. They have no idea what it's like to be on the losing end of a rights issue. They have no idea what it's like to be deprived of something that everybody else benefits from simply because of who you are.
And I would add, they have no idea what rights are in the first place. They think rights are whatever their big invisible friend told us were our rights, right? They're not looking at it from the perspective of, here we are, a whole bunch of people who feel differently and think differently, and we have to live together, right? What laws are we going to establish to make it fair for everyone? I mean, they don't even start there. That's why there's a problem.